Okay, test sound. Can everyone hear me? Test sound. The sound is clear? Okay, thank you, Mom. Thank you, Free Libyan. Hello, I'm back with you today, and I have with me the Freedom Group from Misrata. I'm gonna ask them questions and check how things are there, and what the latest news from Misrata are. Assalamu alaikum.
Salam Allah.
How are you and Misrata holding up today? We hear that the men in Misrata are doing a lot of progress mashallah.
Yes, there was a lot of victories today at different sites of Misrata, like at the medical technical college, and alhamdulillah, yani, and the fighters has entered this college and win the battle there. They killed about 30 mercenaries of Gaddafi troops, and there was a lot of dead body too. There was about 20 bodies. They were being dead there, and gain victory there, and gain some weapons and some ammo from them.
So you caught 30 and 20 dead.
Yes.
Okay. And have the Gaddafi bombing on Misrata become less, or is it still going on?
Yes, it become lesser than ever compared to the last days, because the bombers has been found hiding inside people's house, bombing the people. But the fighters has following the source of the bombs and killed them there. There were some of them from outside Libya, like Ghana and Mali.
And have there been any airstrikes today from the NATO?
Today, yes, the NATO has struck an army trying to enter the city from the west of the city, trying to gain back the control of Tripoli Street and the medical technical college, but the NATO has bombed them. But sometimes the NATO bombing, like we say, I use this rocket. Yesterday, the NATO has struck an empty base. We name it an air defense base, but it's never been used, and it's under the control of the civilians here. It was empty, and it was nothing, just an empty garages.
But no civilians injured.
It's struck by two Muslims.
But there were no civilians injured, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The area was totally empty from the fighters and the Gaddafi troops. It was useless strike, as we say.
And how are things in Tripoli Street? Are there still many snipers?
There are a little few of them hiding at some apartments of Tamim building and a Tijari bank, hiding there, because a lot of their partners has fled to the airport that's at the beginning of Tripoli Street, and there is a tank hiding under a bridge at the beginning of the street, hiding from the NATO jets. When the NATO jets are gone, or when they go out and start bombing the city. Today they were trying to get inside the city by this tank and two cars with an anti-aircraft, but the fighters stopped them and pushed them back longer. And the tank has bombed a sewage factory, and the sewer has flooded into the streets. But there were no civilians at these areas, so it was a useless attacks for them today.
What about the Gaddafi troops in Zawiyat al-Mahjoub? Are there any news from there?
Yes, the Gaddafi troops have last days they've been losing the battles there and trying to flee outside the Zawid Mahjoub to outside Misrata. But today there was a brigade, we call it Sahban, coming from Korean mountain, trying to positioning at Zawid Mahjoub. They camping there, and the fighters has found them and killed them all and killed them. They about 62 soldiers, and they capture about 25 cars, and gain a lot of weapons and ammo. And the others has fled outside the city.
Inshallah. And we saw the footages of Misrata men fighting in a school. Have there been any other attacks similar?
Yes, it's Kurzaz school. The Gaddafi troops are positioned at places where everyone knows that these places the NATO won't strike, like the hospital and the schools. It's Zaruk schools, and NATO won't bomb it. So the fighters has went inside this school and killed them all. They're about 20, and they captured a lot of them. I don't know the number exactly, but this school is totally empty from any Gaddafi troops.
Mm-hmm. But mashallah, I mean, I must say, very brave men in Misrata. We are really proud of them. We hear also that the communication in Misrata is not working. Is that true?
Yes, they were cut off about now a month since they entered at 18 March. It's hard to communicate with anyone now, and it's hard to find anyone. Sometimes we spend the whole day to find one of our friends. So the communication is very, very need here. We need the communication, but the Gaddafi has cut it off. And the engineers here said that there is a car jacking the signals of the mobiles, but the place of this car is unknown right now, and they are trying to find it.
Mm-hmm. I hope that you find it soon. Also, I wanted to ask about the hospitals in Misrata. How are they doing now after a lot of injured people have been taken out to other countries?
Yes, that's very, very good to the hospital. A lot of beds and a lot of rooms has been empty and ready to accept more injuries. I hope that will not occur. But the hospital is still need in some medical drugs, like chemical drugs used for the cancer or something like that. And so there's some equipment for the heart they need.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What about anesthesia? I mean, the past days you said that you have lack of anesthesia.
Yes, the anesthesia they are very short in anesthesia because a lot of surgeries they are doing. Like yesterday, there were 15 surgeries made in one hospital, and they are using a lot of anesthesia. So the most important drug right now is the anesthesia used for surgeries and used for the fracture of bones, fixing the fractures.
What about the women and children in Misrata now? Are they safer? And is the humanitarian situation still very bad, or is it getting better?
Comparing the last few days, it's safer from ever. But the humanitarian situation is still bad. Like there are still lack of food, and the water is now being cut off for about a month or more, and they're still using the wells water. So for the children, it's a bad situation because they cannot they cannot drink this water, and they want their food like milk, children milk. There is still lack of the food, some kind of food, and a lot of people of Misrata they are evacuated from Misrata because they have no houses. Because of the last days, the Grad striking and the mortar bombing destroyed their houses. So now they are evacuating from Misrata to safer areas like Benghazi and other cities.
Are there any other news from Misrata that you would like to inform us with?
Yes, we heard about there is a military involvement in the ground in Misrata, but I assure you that there is no need of that kind of involvement, because the guys here is standing up for Gaddafi troops, and they are going to win, like Gaddafi or not. And we don't need anything like military involvement from the NATO. I hope the NATO is doing his job in the air and will take care anything in the ground.
And you are not afraid of resupplies to the Gaddafi troops?
No, the Gaddafi troops are afraid of us. Like there are a lot of injured and death between the Gaddafi troops, and there are a lot of winning against them. So we don't need any military involvement between the fighters here.
Inshallah Rabbi yansirkum.
Inshallah.
We hope that things will keep up going better in Misrata. We hope that there are not going to be any resupplies to the Gaddafi troops, and that the NATO is going to be, even if there is, that the NATO is going to be doing their strikes and cut off those resupplies. Thank you very much.
Yes.
And we hope to keep in touch with you tomorrow and to hear even better news, inshallah.
Sure.
Okay. Shukran, Shabbat.